Hello my friends. Welcome to Reddit Rabbit. Before we start, catch the rabbit at the bottom right corner, smash that subscribe button and leave a comment. r/AskReddit. What movie was better than the book and why? Big Fish. The movie explores the wondrous world of the father's outrageous stories, but the book lacks all that lavish imagery. Instead it's just a bitter retelling from spoiled child who thought his daddy didn't love him enough. I love the movie, but didn't know it was based on a book. I think that's a common thread in movies that are better than the books. Jaws. Because everyone in the novel is a terrible person, and a lot of the tension in the film is removed, because the guys hunting the shark just get to go home every night in the book. Steven Spielberg said when he read the novel he found himself rooting for the shark, because the human characters were so unlikable. The movie got rid of the unnecessary subplots like the mayor's involvement with the mafia and Ellen Brody having an affair with Hooper. The movie got rid of the unnecessary subplots like the mayor's involvement with the mafia and Ellen Brody having an affair with Hooper. Sounds like there was so much subplot. If they made it today it would be a trilogy. Delete this comment before Hollywood sees it. Too late. I'm already on a conference call about it. Peter Jackson is attached to produce. Jeff Bridges is people like him former Vaughn, but he's only available for 15 days of shooting, max. Also, Robert Shaw's performance as Kint is in my opinion one of the best acting performances I have ever seen. He is a quintessential, salty fisherman. Tie me a sheep shank. You've got money counting hands. Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. He's so freaking amazing in that movie, and his Indianapolis monologue gives me chills every time I watch it, even though I have seen that movie probably 40 times. He is everything I love about movies. Kingsman is better than the comic, mainly because they didn't follow the comic all that much. Mark Miller is interesting, because every adaptation of his work has made me realize all of the flaws that were there in the original I never noticed. Like how Kick-Ass ends with him jerking off to a video of the love interest blowing a football player, or the guy in Wanted who's forced to be a criminal by his giant talking peanuts, and the scene also in Wanted where they go to an actress's house and rape her. Still appreciate his work though. Queen Bees and Wannabes, mostly known by its movie adaptation name as Mean Girls. I mean they're basically nothing alike, but the book is supposed to be a self-help book. I wouldn't call that adaptation. I feel it's generous just to say the movie was inspired by the book. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? The book was supposed to be written as film noir, but it ends up as a disjointed mess. The characters are there, but they have none of the charm of the movie. Eddie isn't a good man, who's ruining his life with booze after the loss of his brother. He's a drunk asshole, just because Roger's dead, etc. The plot is also different. The movie took the idea of humans and toons interacting, and went in a completely different direction. Forrest Gump was way better than the book it was based on. Came here for this. Read the book in high school, because I loved the movie. The soundtrack for the movie was my favorite album for most of my junior year, but that was it was something. Anyway, that being said, Groom did get the right flavors of the Deep South and especially Alabama into that book. Still, the movie was better. Battleship. The book was just a bunch of rules. God, I forgot that film existed. I don't know if your comment made me happy since it was a good joke or pissed me off, because I remembered that film. The Mist. Even Stephen King agreed. Yay, the ending really went the darkest freaking route possible and that took a lot of guts from the filmmakers. Man, what a gut punch of an ending. I absolutely loved it. Jojo Rabbit was better than Caging Skies. The book was so goddamn bleak that it probably wouldn't have been adapted otherwise. Taika Waititi stated that he never even finished the book and stopped reading halfway, which is why the movie only shows a short part of the book and ends so differently. I feel like a lot of my favorite movie adaptations are like that. LOL. Same with Annihilation. A feverish misremembering of just part of an also excellent novel makes for a really dreamy movie. That movie was such brilliant satire and at the same time an amazing story with likable characters. It pulled off something truly amazing. Schindler's List. The book was almost unreadable. Then again, I'm a dumbass. List of names gets boring after a while. I'm always making lists. Let's do some improvisational comedy. Now. Shawshank Redemption. It was part of a 4-part novella released by Stephen King. The story was very short, but very well written. I just feel like the movie really captured the spirit of the story and gave some depth to the characters. Plus, the acting was great. Same with Stand By Me. Out of the same collection. The collection is a great read. It's quick-paced and extremely captivating. It's also nice to see the similarities between the book and the movies. Reading Red describe his red hair and pale skin in Morgan Freeman's voice is the funniest thing I've ever done. John Hammond from Jurassic Park was much better in the movie. In the book he was kind of your standard greedy businessman. In the movie was a dreamy idealist with good intentions, which made it so much more heartbreaking when the park inevitably failed. I actually also noticed they switched the little boy and girl characters in the book and movie. In the book the little girl is basically useless and whines and complains the whole time, while the boy saves the day almost exclusively. I thought it was cooler for the movie to split up the character traits more evenly between the two. It felt like almost every single character was inverted in some way between the book and movie, in terms of both personality and whether or not they make it out alive, to the point where it almost seems intentional for some strange reason. The Silence of the Lambs. It was incredibly drawn out at times and they were right to cut a lot of it out of the movie. The author also feels the need to describe the hell out of everything and it gets tedious to read. Doesn't hurt that it's one of the best movies ever made. The Godfather. I like the book, but the film is phenomenal. The Prestige again, good book, phenomenal film. This is immediately what came to mind for me. I don't need chapters about Sonny's massive dong and Bridesmaid's wide set cervix. The Notebook. Rachel McAdams brought flair and charisma that wasn't in the book. I think Arrival was better, and that's coming from someone who really liked the short story. The movie is just better at telling that story overall. I tend to agree, because the film really brings out the story and makes it more digestible. That being said, Ted Chiang is easily one of the greatest science fiction authors of all time. Stardust. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy Neil Gaiman, and the Stardust book was really good, but the movie was absolutely enchanting. I mean, seeing Robert De Niro as Captain Shakespeare? Life-changing. Not to mention a much better ending. 50 Shades of Grey. Just because it couldn't possibly have been any worse. Take away the abusive and stalkerish aspects of the story and you're still left with characters with zero chemistry with each other, a plot that goes nowhere, and a writing style reminiscent of an adolescent girl who figured out what happens when she wears tight jeans and crosses her legs just right. A writing style reminiscent of an adolescent girl who figured out what happens when she wears tight jeans and crosses her legs just right. That's what you get when you turn a fanfic into a movie. Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's my favorite book of all time, but goddamn that movie is incredible. Wes Anderson just made it his own thing. The movie has so much more character. Mr. Fox in the movie is so charming and intelligent, but also 10 times more arrogant than he was in the books. But he makes up for it in the end. Also, his backstory with the wolf is amazing. Mrs. Fox is also so much goddamn better. In the book, she literally did nothing except cook the huge meal at the end. The scene in the movie where she fights Rat with a chain still gets me pumped up. And don't even get me started on Ash and Christopherson. Oh my god, what a goddamn improvement from the 3 small foxes from the books. Ash is so goddamn relatable, and Christopherson is so lovable. Their parts in the movie were my favorites. Might be unpopular, but I think The Princess Bride. I found Buttercup's character way worse in the book, even to a point where I was like, okay dude, cut ties, you're better off without her, and in the movie I never feel that really. For fans of the movie, there's a book called As You Wish by Carrie Elwes about the behind the scenes stories of making the movie. It's a great and funny read. There's crazy it like Andre the Giant 16-second farts and him passing out in a hotel lobby because he drinks alcohol by the barrel, or Mandy Patinkin slapping Andre because he wasn't saying his lines fast enough. The audiobook is fabulous. Carrie reads it and does voices for the other actors who have passed on. I highly recommend it if you have a road trip coming up. Holes. I don't know if it was better, but damn, the movie did the book justice. One of my favorite childhood books and movies. I really wished they had the scene where Stanley's lawyer learns Zero was the dude who was guilty of the crime her client was guilty of, if only for the comedic value. But yeah, I have to respect the directors refusing to cast a fat kid then make them lose a lot of weight and just cast a skinny kid due to health reasons.